Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Soul, and welcome back to another episode of the Soul Sessions. With me today is the independent wrestler who is built like a shit house, man. This guy is built. It is Scar. Scar, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you?
Oh, very well, very well. So, for those out there who are not familiar with Scar, please tell us, who are you?
I am the future. If you look into my eyes, you're not just looking at something crystal blue. You're looking at the next 3, 4, 5 decades that's going to take over in that squared circle. I don't care how long you've been in the industry. And with all due respect, it will be me versus the very best, and I will come out on top. Who is Scar? Scar is the very best.
Well, it's always good to aim to be the best in an industry of tough competitors. So let's go about your passion for wrestling. How did that begin for you in the first place?
I want to say, just as a very young child, I didn't feel like I was very good at anything growing up. My biological father had left our household. So I ended up watching wrestling just as a hobby. And I think seeing a lot of the bigger guys like John Cena and Batista and Triple H at the time really motivated me to become glued into it. But then I realized there was a whole nother aspect of it when I started seeing my favorite wrestler, Jeff Hardy, fly high. And that really captivated my mind. And ever since I was a young child, man, ever since I was a young child, just been wrestling. Even throughout my fitness journey, even throughout my fitness career, I knew that when that was over, I would want to come here to wrestle.
Well, hey man, that's great to see. And let's talk about fitness as well, because you are a man who definitely takes care of his fitness level. And I'm wondering, how does fitness transitions into wrestling? Does it prepare you immensely for that?
Absolutely. The mental battles going into a set or going into a very excruciating workout helps you with the wrestling because you need to learn how to be better every second. You need to learn how to finish better than what you started and start great as well. What I can say from having that background in fitness is that there is nothing that you can't do. It all starts in the mind. And if you truly believe it, like they say, those who say they can and those who say they can't are usually both right. And I've believed that since I was a very young child, and it has led me to current day where I'm able to share with all of you guys my story.
Mm-hmm. And from the world of fitness into the world of wrestling, was there anything you had to add to your fitness regime or anything you had to cut?
I wouldn't say cut necessarily, but definitely add and switch up and just find that great melting pot of endurance, explosion, cardiovascular routine with the weightlifting. I'm consistently changing my training routine every so often because the thing about the human body is it gets used to things so fast. So if you're not consistently shocking your body is going to hit a plateau. So today is day 3 of a different training style that I've adapted. And it's pretty much you start with very low weight and very low reps. And then every set building up, you go higher weight and higher reps, which, as you can imagine, sounds extremely difficult. And it is. That's going to help prepare for that cardiovascular endurance in the ring. Also, I've been doing a lot of running, sprints, battle ropes, and different kinds of kinetic exercises, as well as static holds.
That's good mix of regime. Do you feel like that's something some people who train in fitness get wrong, is that they don't switch up and stick with one particular thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, if your body's hitting a plateau, you just have to kind of be able to learn your body and predict when those plateaus are coming, so that way you can change it before it even happens. And it's not so much of somebody doing something wrong or doing something right. Sometimes people just really enjoy their routine and they're doing it for a lifestyle reason. And if they really enjoy that flow, then I recommend you just keep it up if it's for like a mental sake. But people should not really let the body um, be prepared for what's coming next, because if you consistently shock it, you're going to have different reception with the growth or different reception with the metabolism. And you always want to be in control of that instead of the other way around.
Hmm. Yeah, of course. No, it's always good to be on that guard with the switching. Let's move from the physical aspect and onto the spiritual aspect. You're obviously a man of faith, and I was wondering, how does faith help in prepare for the training and life in the ring?
Wow, what a wonderful question. I can definitely say that I've tried so hard in my life to do things on my own. And when I surrendered my life to God, when I surrendered my life to Jesus Christ entirely, that's when things started to transform in my life, mentally, physically, spiritually. Um, it says in the book of truth, that wonderful Bible, that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. It doesn't say some things and it doesn't say most things. It says that we can do all things. And I truly believe that. Before I train, I get into prayer. Before I do a big set, I get into prayer. I like to pray as much as possible and just keep that relationship huge, huge in my life. Um, Chase first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously powerful, powerful words. You know, there's many men of faith within the wrestling business, from Shawn Michaels to Sting. Do you feel like that sense of faith as well just helps prepare for the long run and, you know, hardships, hard days? It just gives you something to settle back on and feel at peace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, each day is going to have its own struggles, so it's better to just cast it onto the Lord and ask Him to destroy these negative things and just fill us with positivity. Because if each day is going to have its own struggles, then you shouldn't worry about the struggles to come. You should just focus on the blessings instead of the stressings. And yes, I was actually watching a pastor talk with The Undertaker about his relationship with Jesus Christ and how Michelle McCool helped him out there too. It's very wonderful seeing all of these men of faith in the fitness industry, wrestling industry,
Mm-hmm.
a lot in the music industry, around the world. But we got to understand that everything here is temporary, but He is forever. Even though the heavens and the earth may pass away, the word of God will stay the same.
Great, great stuff to hear. Let's move on to, obviously, with your fitness build, you're a very large gentleman who looks like he could knock a guy out in a single punch. And
Thank you.
there's many powerhouse guys in the business, from, you know, Brian Cage, Braun Breaker, even Powerhouse Hobbs. How do you feel like these type of built gentlemen are represented now from the heydays of the 80s and 90s?
Back in the day, they had less moves in their arsenal. And today, they have more moves in their arsenal. I believe that even though the characters are so amazing in today's age, I'm real OG when it comes to wrestling and when it comes to most things. And I really love the stories that were portrayed for the audience inside of the ring. For instance, Hulk versus Andre, or when Hulk and Macho Man had their sessions going on, as opposed to, the standards of today where it's just a quick match, a quick flick. It's one and done. You talk about it for 2 months and it's over with. But
Mm-hmm.
here we are decades later, and Hogan and Andre is still a thing. I believe that being a larger gentleman, we should be able to captivate the audience in such a way where those matches are being spoken about for decades to come. Whether that's a smaller match or a larger match, we should all treat them like it's our last match.
Wise, wise words. If you had to look at the business now, who would you say are the top three big men of the industry?
Big men, of course, John Cena's up there
Mm.
because John Cena's been the face of WWE for a long time. And I want to say things properly. John Cena's up there for sure. That's a very difficult question because
Mm.
depending on how they're creating that poetry in motion inside the squared circle, everything can change. And then some people are only there for so long. Like John Cena is only there a few times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And The Rock is still running technically. Technically, he just held the belt not too long ago. So if we can include The Rock in there, I'll definitely throw him in the mix, if that even counts.
Yeah,
And
why not?
actually, let's put John Cena as number two, The Rock as number three, and Scar as number one.
Well, it looks like Scar's going to take the whole world over. Scar, for yourself, obviously working on the independents, is there sort of a goal that you want to achieve by the end of the year? A certain company you want to be with or wrestle for, or even take a title off their champion?
Yeah, sure. I can create my own plans, but God will direct the steps and God will direct my feet to where I need to be. I actually had a tryout with the WWE in August of last year. Phenomenal experience. But I can't lie. I'm definitely in love with the product of AEW. And I look to
Mm-hmm.
hold every single championship that a man can hold all at once.
Hey, you're going to be the next Ultimo Dragon or Kenny Omega, I can see.
I'm the first Scar.
No, we'll go with that. That's good. That's good. We'll go with that. Speak about your AEW tryout. What was that experience like for you?
So it was actually a WWE tryout, and it was in Las Vegas. It was a really nice experience. They had Triple H and John Laurinaitis evaluating talent. William Regal was actually one of the coaches. Um, Samoa Joe was there. It was very cool. Matt Bloom or A Train, he was also one of the coaches. I believe that I didn't get signed because they were looking maybe for a different product.
Mm-hmm.
I like that extreme look, that extreme product. So it was actually God sent that Scar didn't get signed because AEW, it's time to bleed. Let's go. But phenomenal experience overall. Some great people I got to meet, from the people trying out to the wonderful team and the wonderful staff over there at WWE. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity. And, it's just about consistently working and consistently about hundreds of hours beating on your craft. And only God knows.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't evolve into better people as long as we don't take these lessons and evolve from them. We're going to take risks. Was there anything from that WWE tryout that you, like a lesson you learned that you took to heart and felt like, yeah, this can help me become a better wrestler?
Yeah, when I came back to Orlando, where I live, Orlando, Florida, it became very different for me. The training all became different. It became very matured. Um, I was always focused and always very about my training and about what I do, but there is other ways that you can train. So now I've become more creative about the ways that I can train to present myself in the squared circle to the best of my abilities, like different static holds or different things with kinetic energy presentation. Very, very out of the realm of what somebody would call bodybuilding, but it's not bodybuilding anymore. It's just tools. All of these things that I've been using for the training are tools to get me to the next step, and that's probably one of the most prominent things that I learned, at least in a physical aspect, from Vegas back to Orlando.
Yeah, good things to keep to your chest. Let's move up from WWE to AEW. Going into that company, who in that company you look at and think, yeah, I can make magic with them?
Scar and Jeff Hardy would not miss. Jeff Hardy is my favorite superstar or favorite athlete in the wrestling industry since I was a young child. I even remember my mom making me custom armbands that I would wear in the 5th grade that they would take away in the 5th grade. And here, so many decades later, Jeff is still running. I would love to face off with Jeff Hardy. It would be an absolute honor.
Hey, Scar versus Jeff Hardy. I'm sure that will be a Meltzer 5-star match, my friend.
Let's make it a ladder match.
Oh, extra spice added on. Well, obviously, we know Jeff is a part of the Hardys. Would Scar add a tag team partner to go against the Hardys?
Why not team up with the Hardys? The Hardys and Scar. If there would be a tag team partner in AEW right now to face off with the Hardys, I'm going to have to say CM Punk and Scar versus the Hardys.
Oh, CM Punk. He is something, I must say.
He is something. He's one of my favorites, too, since back in the day. I remember his early ECW vignettes. And, man, I still love the guy. Love everything he's doing.
He is great. I mean, his recent feud with MJF at Revolution, coming off that great match, was absolutely grand. As we know, AEW recently purchased Ring of Honor. Would you be interested in going to Ring of Honor as well?
Yeah, I see Ring of Honor as a developmental territory for AEW. So if anybody from AEW is watching this, put me on. Let's grind. Let's go.
Hey, let's.
Any way to get my foot in the door to a company of that magnitude, I'd be greatly appreciative for. But no matter how it happens, I'm enjoying the hunt instead of just focusing on the goal. I'm focusing on each and every step of the hunt towards that goal, and I'm willing to pay my dues to get into the companies of these magnitudes, because it's not just going to happen one way or another way. Only God knows that way. And nonetheless, you will see me rocking some gold soon.
Oh, I can't say I cannot wait for that day. Scar has gold around his neck, waist, arms, everything. He's got gold everywhere. So let's move on now and discuss the hunt, as you said it was. What's the main part of the hunt that excites you the most?
Every step, just being grateful for every step in the process, whether that's a theoretical stance or a realistic standpoint. Every step, every rep, every hook, every grapple, every submission, every match, every entrance, everything, period, leading up to that event. A lot of people get so caught up in that big goal, which is a great thing, and it's something awesome to hold on to. But when you start focusing on the hunt instead of just focusing on that prize, and then just kind of becoming lackadaisical with the hunt, whether that's mentally or physically, things are going to change. And you got to think of it like a lion. The lion doesn't focus on just like eating the gazelle and doing all of these things. He's focused on the hunt. He's focused on hunting down that gazelle. And the lion's the king of the jungle. And that is a great representation, my friend, of how we can all accomplish our goals a little bit better by being more appreciative of each step, focusing on the blessings instead of the stressings, and just saying, wow, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to do the reps that I don't really want to do. I'm grateful to do each step of the cardio that I don't really want to do. I'm grateful to watch the matches till 4 a.m, even though that I'm tired. I'm grateful to do this. I'm grateful to do that. When your body tells you no, and you just got that hunger because you want to keep pushing, that's what's going to separate first place from second place.
Yeah, good tips for the hunt, to get that end goal. I was wondering if we could just go on to discussing, education and learning and evolving. Is there a particular match you look back at and think, yeah, I can learn from this and keep going and even become better?
Well, no matter how that match took place or how any of these matches take place, I believe that we can learn something from a ginormous match like we're talking about Hogan and Andre, or even a smaller match like John Cena versus Jeff Hardy from Raw way back in the day where that fan came in the audience. There's just little things that, you remember that? I was watching that the other day. That's why I bring it up. And there's just things that we can learn from every viewing point. The other night, I turned on WrestleMania 23, and I watched it from the beginning, and I'm almost all the way through with it. And each and every aspect, from the promos to the vignettes to the entrances, the actual matches, the communication with the crowd, and making sure the crowd is getting what they want to see. Like, I believe you can learn from so much, whether that was the opening Money in the Bank match or if it was Bobby Lashley versus Umaga, rest in peace. I believe you can learn no matter the style of the match, no matter how great of a match it was. Because let's be honest, if the match sucked, then you're going to learn how not to suck. And if the match is good, then you might get some inspiration from it. You might even get some inspiration from a position where the match sucked and you think of a different way to do something, and that might spark something in your mind. So no matter how it is, I believe that you can learn not just in wrestling, but from anything in life. You always have to have those open ears to hearing other people's opinions But you have to make sure you have that mindset of not getting offended and actually taking in their opinions with a good heart and putting in the work instead of what I see a lot in the world, people just getting offended and people wanting to follow one route. There's so many routes to one certain goal.
Yeah, good. Let's speak about that. So obviously, some people may only see one certain path to get to one certain goal. But obviously, you said there's multiple paths. If there was someone out there who's struggling on that single path and want to find multiples, what advice could you, Scar, give them?
I would say get with somebody who has been in the position that you want to be in and communicate with them, almost like a mentorship. Whether that's a friendship level or if you're having someone train you, like if you're unhealthy or out of shape and you just need a trainer, I recommend going speaking to that trainer at the gym, maybe that you've been limiting communication with because of the way they look. They might be the nicest guy, but definitely go talk to someone who has achieved the goals or been in the realm of achieving the goals that you want to achieve. And also, something huge I can say is never give up. And also, like I said before, chase first the kingdom of heaven and all things will be added.
Yeah, exactly. Great words by you. Well, let's wrap it up here, Scar. And if the viewers out there have loved what they've seen from you, where can they see you in the future?
They can see me at the top.
Well,
no matter where that is, they can see me at the top.
Well, hey, that's the best way to see it. Well, Scar, it's been a pleasure having you here on the Soul Sessions. It's been absolutely grand. And I want to thank you. So, to our viewers, remember, as I always say, be well and be kind to one another, and have a good day.
God bless. Thank you very much.
No worries, my friend.